I'm running around today. Look at this craziness. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the Thunderbird Farm Handcrafted with Genevieve, and I'm Genevieve, and we're gonna do the Hydro Pouch today by Sweet Adeline Stitchz. I was lucky enough to be a part of her tester group. Just fell in love with this pattern. I've cut out a bunch of like the clear window piece, so I am gonna be cutting out some of the pattern today as well. So I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll share in the comments that you're here to sew this with me. I'm just kind of getting myself back organized here in the creativity corner so that I can make them. And I'll probably be here because I'm making these for craft markets for next month. And so I'll probably be live. I would say I'm probably gonna have to head out around 4 o'clock. If not a little bit earlier than that, but we'll try to get maybe 1 or 2 of them made because they actually are fairly, like once it's cut, it's a fairly quick pattern. So I'll probably have like a little bit of a slow start and then hopefully we can like dive right into it. So thank you to Sweet Adeline Stitchz for allowing me to share this pattern on my YouTube channel. I appreciate that. I always encourage all of you, I do have a link in the details to go and purchase the pattern. Purchasing the pattern helps the pattern designers make more patterns, just like supporting me here on YouTube by subscribing and getting alerts and joining my Patreon helps me continue to do these and make this something that's, you know, worth me running around all day and then coming and joining you live. I personally enjoy the lives because I get to interact with you all. I still haven't figured out how to change the rotation of my camera. Something's changed in settings. I know I need to go and take some time to look at it. So I'm going to like position you here at my cutting table for now while I grab the pattern. But say hello. Tell me what you're up to today and if you've made the Hydro Pouch or not. Because I know a lot of people have made it. And I know a lot of people are still wanting to make it to get all my supplies ready. So there's my pattern. I will, at the end, I'll put some links in of the different supplies that I bought, that I use. So I do have some Velcro, some hook and loop that I bought off of Amazon that's colored. So I have those. And then I also bought these plasticky D-rings that are colored, so I need those. I am going to need, let me just move things around here. I am going to need some zipper. I have my shakies, my sprinkles. I'm trying to think what else I need. And then I guess I'll just need like the inside, something to get a little bit more stable. But that's what we're up to. Let me see what thread do I have on the machine so I don't have to change out thread right away. So what I did with the pattern is, because I want to do like the clear little shaky panels, let me go grab one that I've made so I can show you. I have cut out that front pocket already. Oh, and I forgot, you guys, just wait a second. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Let me do that quick because I don't want... There we go. All right, so these are the different clear EPU that I've cut to do the pouch on the front, the little clear pocket. One of the things I am going to do today, so I'm going to show you how I'm doing the little shaker pouches, like pocket on the front. I do think I'm going to widen my gusset. I'm going to show you. I'm going to grab one now. I'm going to grab one. So here is one of them that I've made, that I've used. Now her pattern calls to just have the hook, I think. But I wanted pretty colored Velcro. So I'm going to show you how I like just added on here the lengths and stuff that I use for the hook and loop. So you need webbing, you need the hook and loop. And then here you can kind of see the gusset personally for me, I don't feel like the gusset, once it's on your bottle, I feel like the gusset is not thick enough. And she might have changed it by this point. I feel like the gusset, when I did the original testing, I mean, it's nice if you're just putting like your cards and some cash, but if you want to put like your phone in the front pocket, it becomes that this becomes very tight against the bottle. So here, I'll show you. I have mine here. So I can't show you with the phone because we're using the phone, but just so that you can kind of see how this works. And, you know, I think it also all depends on, like, what is the thickness of the fabric you're using, right? So here, this is vinyl, right? So you can kind of see how if I added my phone to this, there's not a whole lot of room to be able to use this zipper area and, you know, put things on the inside. So just keep that in mind. Like, I think the original size is fine if you're just using it for, like, your cards and your cash. But if you want to use it for, like, if you want to, I mean, these are already very heavy to begin with, especially the 40-ounce ones. So adding your phone to it, but it is kind of nice. I've had a bunch of people say, like, you know, it is kind of nice if you're going someplace and you don't want to take a bag or a purse, like, you know, like a kid's game or something like that, to be able to have everything all just in the water, on the water bottle. So this is what we're making today. All right, so we have that. And I have like an off-white on my machine. So let's see here. What one do I want to do that I'm going to use off-white? Probably this one. Okay. So again, I have the TPU cut out for the pocket. Now what I did, so this is your only pattern piece that's with the pattern, and I did see that Kayla over at Carolina's Little Stitches is doing acrylic templates. I just cut out a second one of those and folded it over for where I wanted my pocket to go, okay? So just, you know, like, keep that in mind. Like, the way that we're doing the pockets is I'm just cutting out a second one of these, but deciding how high do I want that pocket to go on the outside, all right? And then even if you want to do a pocket on the inside lining, the same type of thing. So I have two of the pattern pieces cut out to be able to create the pocket and the inside pocket. So a lot of my TPU, now this TPU I got from Stitchz, and I actually think this is a lot thicker. This is a thicker, this might be, what's the other TPU? I'm going to sneeze. What's the other TPU called? I forget. But this is a lot thicker. Like, it's definitely a lot stiffer. Most of my other TPU is either from My Little Shindig or Fabric Therapy, and it's much thinner, like, and more pliable, I would say, than what the one I'm going to use today, this one here, is. So, all right, so I have that. I'm going to get everything together. Like I said, this first one, bear with me because I haven't made one in a little while. I have to read everything. Okay, so I need to cut my outer fabric. And the outer fabric I'm going to use is, for this one, is butter. It's like a green butter from Weft and Warp. So we're going to do that for the outer portion. Okay, let's see. What are we going to do for the lining? Let me look at my water resistant canvas, what I got here. I think we're going to do this like maroon colored water resistant canvas. I think that's what we're going to do for the lining. All right, so then let's look here. What do I have for webbing? could do maroon, or I could just do like, I think I just might do an off-white for the webbing. And then we'll do, I don't think there's like a dark green or anything in here. And then we'll do it's like a taupe color for the hook and loop. And I do have a piece of taupe zipper tape, so we'll do that. So which means I need gunmetal, I think, for a zipper pull. Oh, let's look here what we got. Oh, gunmetal. Well, I could do a tassel zipper pull. We could make a tassel. That's going to take us a long time, though. All right, I think I'm just going to do one of these little tassels that you can make out of a piece of scrap vinyl. So I get these from, can you guys see that? I don't know. There you go. You just take a piece. It's like a little triangle ring on the end of it. I get these from Dream Big Creations. So I think that's the zipper pull we're gonna use on these. All right. And since we're doing gunmetal on we'll use should we do the clear or the black D-ring? I think maybe clear might be better than black. Okay. All right, so I think we have everything. So now we can cut things out that we need. Excuse my sniffling because it's cold. It's the first kind of cold day here today, so my allergies are definitely having a fun time. All right, so I'm gonna do my small stuff first. Let me find a Ziploc baggie for all my little notions and whatnot. I keep all of that sort of stuff in a Ziploc baggie. That way I have everything. I'm going to make this a shaker also. So I need to find, didn't I have more of those? Or are they over at they might be over at my station, my sewing machine. Let me look. Maybe not. Maybe I used all of them. I did have little seeds that I was using. But if I don't have any more little seeds, then I'll just use the white sprinkles, and we'll do I Keep Growing sewing blurb. Put that on here somewhere. And let's see what I do have for the outside binding. I have some of this really thin cork, so I'll use this for the outside binding. The inside binding, I think I'm just going to use, let's see, probably some of the water resistant canvas. Okay, so there's that. And one of my own tags. All right, so now for the zipper tape, I need to cut that. so there's my zipper tape. I need a D-ring tab of webbing. There's that. Sorry, I'm bumping you guys. The strap. Okay, so there's my strap of webbing. Now, for the Velcro, because I'm using both types of hook and loop, what I did is I took the measurement that Sweet Adelines has in the pattern, and I cut it in half, but added a 1/4 inch to that so that I can piece these two together. So I'll show you in a second. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So here's my two pieces. Here's one part that is the fuzzy, that's the loop, and the other side, that's the rough one, is the hook. So what I'm going to do when I go and sew these is I'm going to put these two together, like so, and then I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch here, and that way when I open it, it'll be the length that I need. Hopefully that makes sense. So I have that done. Okay. Now I need to cut out my exterior and my interior. So I have some pieces here that I can cut for. I'm going to first cut for my little zipper pull. And I just do a 1 inch by like 5 inch piece for those. And all we're going to do is we're going to just fold this in half like so and top stitch either side, and then we'll have the thing to go through the zipper pull. So there's that. Now I want to do my exterior pieces. Hey there, Sierra. Where'd I get my shirt? This is a Mormino shirt. And I live in Pennsylvania. I saw that question too. Sorry if I'm not answering comments just yet. When I go and sit back down at my machine, I'll have my iPad open. I'll answer comments then. I just want to get this cut out so that we can at least sew one of these in the time frame I have to be live. All right, so there's one exterior piece. Let me get the other one. Okay, here's our other exterior piece. So we need 2 of those. Now we need to do our gusset. which again, this time around, I think I am going to make it a little wider. Oh, and OMG. Is this the first pattern that I printed out when I was testing it? Bear with me a second, y'all. I'm gonna bring up the pattern and just double check measurements, because I printed one out when we were testing it, and some of the measurements weren't right. And I wonder if I can't remember. I can't remember if I printed another one out, or if I just went off of the text message she sent me. So just bear with me a second. Let's see. Hydro pouch, where are you? There we are. Yeah, I don't think I printed the second one out. So let me just pull it up here. Don't mind the mess of the creativity corner, huh? Here we are. Here we are. Okay. There we are. Okay. So we are going to need, if I'm going to widen it, okay. I am going to be doing, for the top part of the gusset, I'm going to be doing 8.5 by 1 1/4. Again, these are not the measurements that are in the pattern. I'm just kind of, I'm going to try hacking this one a little bit, just because I feel like I want it, I just want that gusset to be a little bit wider. And then I'm going to be doing, for the that's the gusset part for the zipper. And then for the bottom, I'm going to do 2 by the measurement that she has. So 2 inches. Just to add a little extra in my gusset and see how that looks and how that works. You can't go too much bigger, because it's going to just be too bulky on the outside of your bottle, you know what I mean? So we're gonna try that. Okay, and now I need to cut this same out for my interior that I'm cutting out of water resistant canvas. I think this water resistant canvas that I'm using is from Gabby over at Wonderground. again, the interior and exterior from the pattern piece. I know this isn't very entertaining right now while I cut out pattern pieces. I'm sorry. All right, so there's my 2 pattern pieces for my interior. Now I'm going to cut out, if you want to do an inside pocket, which I found the inside pocket is actually nice. Like if I'm shoving my cards in there, it's nice to kind of have my cards like tucked in there. Hey there, girl. We do have sweet Adeline stitches in here today. So I like to, am I being correct that Kayla from Caroline's Little Stitches is doing a Hydro Pouch template? Tell me that I have the right person. Anyways, like I said, I cut out a second one of the pattern, folded it over. You're going to want 2 of these because we're going to sew them opposite sides together. Okay, so if you want that inside little pocket. And like I said, I found on mine, and I've been using mine on my water, on my bottle or my cup or whatever we want to call it, my Stanley thing. Now for, well, since the pattern came out pretty much, so that's a month already. Holy, at least a month already, right? So the little pocket on the inside is actually kind of nice if you are gonna like have cash or or your cards or something to put in there. I found that for the most part what I put in mine is my cards, my main cards, like my license and my debit card, some cash, my driver's license, and a little bit of like a lip gloss or a lip balm or something. I did put in mine, I did put a little like lobster clasp for for my keys. But again, that's one of the reasons also that I think I'm adding a little bit to the gusset, just because it definitely gets kind of bogged down. One thing I found too, like if you don't want to add that to the gusset, but you do want to have some place to carry, like to have your keys. I'll show you in a second. Let me just cut this piece out. I got actually from Kayla over at Carolina's Little Stitches. I got one of these fluffies, and it has the lobster claw here, and you could clip your keys like right onto the side of your cup with this. Like if you have something that has like a little clip, because you can clip that right onto the little D ring. I'll show you guys when we're done with one. All right, and now the last gusset piece, which is what? Okay. Okay. All right, I think we have everything. Let me throw this over here and just double check myself. All right, we have our gusset lining, gusset zipper lining area. We have our 2 pockets for the inside, our lining for the inside. We have our exterior gusset and zipper, our exterior pieces. Oh, and I need one more piece for the pocket, because we're making it a shaker pocket. I need one more piece of the water resistant canvas with this part of the pattern, the half pocket pattern piece, because we need something that that shaker stuff can play inside. And I probably should cut a strip of 1-inch binding also. All right, so now we have our pocket piece for the front. Let me cut a piece of 1 inch. 1 1/4 inch is always more helpful to be for the inside binding. Okay. All right. I think we have everything now. So let's move this over to the... Let me pull you guys back up on my iPad so I can see your questions or comments or whatever. We're going to move you over here to the sewing machine. And now I'll be able to see more of your comments. And we'll turn the machine on. So, where do I live? Hi, I live in Pennsylvania. Did I say that already? Yeah, Pennsylvania. And my shirt is from Mormino. And awesome, thanks for jumping in. And it is Carolina's Little Stitches that is doing the Hydro Pouch templates, which I personally feel if you're going to do a lot of these, and I feel like for now, these cups are kind of like the fad that's happening, especially with like moms going to games or teachers. I mean, I made one for a friend who is a teacher for her birthday, and she loves hers, and gets comments about it by everybody. So if you have teacher gifts, this could be a really great teacher gift to make for your kids' teachers. So I highly recommend. I mean, the pattern is $9. It's not crazy. And I feel like you could probably make back that $9 for sure. So I think I need to make a bobbin. Yes, I have no bobbins actually right now, except for the one that's in there, and it's not a color that we need. And I am sewing this on my industrial. I don't think you would have to sew this on an industrial at all. I'm sewing this on my Sailrite Fabricator because that's what I got. I do have a domestic Bernina, but she's over in the corner, and her and I are just, we're still in the learning process. So she's for a day when there's when there's more time. Oh, need to turn this. Let's make a bobbin. So you might be wondering why I'm not making any of these with my fabric. Well, it's just because I got addicted to the TPU wagon, and then Amber from the Crafty Reporter enabled me to buy a bunch of shaky sprinkles. And so I have a lot of that to use myself, as I know many of us do. So, but I do think what I would like to do, and I think I've said this on some social posts, I would like to make some of these patterns that I'm sharing over the next couple weeks with some of my fabric, because I think they would be really unique and gorgeous. But also with some flannels. I feel like, you know, now, especially now that it's cold here in Pennsylvania, I do feel like the flannel look for these patterns that I'm sharing would be really, really pretty. So maybe I'll get around to doing that. If I don't, I hope you do. Right now I'm feeling a little, if you haven't noticed, I'm feeling a little scattered because things have just been really busy here and lots going on. But I feel like that's how every fall, like, or even every season, like every season, like the transition into a season can sometimes be hard. All right, I have to take my shoes off because I don't know about you, but I sew better when I don't have shoes on. I'm gonna plug my phone in too, so that we don't hopefully end up with a dead battery. All right, I'm gonna just position you this way. That way you guys can see, right? Here she is. This is Gertie Hazel. That's her name. I've had her for a little bit over a year now, I guess. And I love her. So I highly recommend Sailrite. All right, we're gonna first do our little shaker pouch, okay? So the shaker pouch, again, we're going to get our TPU and a piece of one of these pocket pieces. And the way you can know which side is the right side is the side that you can see lines when you scratch it is the wrong side. So we want the right side. And my kid, my son, let me grab my, I told my kid the other day to come up and grab a scissors, and he grabbed the wrong scissors and took them downstairs. All right, I have another pair of snips here. All right, I do like to always find my centers. So I'm gonna find my centers on the top and the bottom here. Because you're not gonna see these once we get going here. All right, and then I'm just going to clip this together on the sides. And the bottom, like so. And then for when you're sewing with TPU, you always want to make sure your tension is pretty tight. That will hopefully make it look nice for you. It's always best to test it and not on your pattern piece, but I don't believe I have any more of this left, so we're just gonna hope. And I usually do just like one little back stitch. And when you're doing TPU, you don't want your stitches to be small because you can perforate just like with vinyl. But when you're doing the shakers, you just want the stitch to be small enough that that stuff isn't gonna fall out either. Okay, how does it look on the back? It could be a little nicer. Looks okay-ish on the top, but a little tighter probably. All right, so there we have the pocket. And there's no more of those seeds, I'm pretty sure. You know how it is, like you'll find it after after you do it. Let me just double check back here. Sometimes stuff falls with the dog treats that I keep behind my sewing machine. Okay, yeah, no. So I'm just gonna put a little bit. You don't want a whole lot in these, you guys, because, oh, and look, I didn't stitch enough on the sides. I didn't stitch enough on the side there, so I'm gonna have to restitch that. I didn't catch enough. Let's see here. There we go. It just pulled right out. Okay. Yeah, so we don't want to put too much in there. We're just going to put a little bit. The seeds were so much cuter with this one. I should have just saved a little bit. So maybe that much. Maybe that much in the bottom. We're going to set that aside. And then I'm going to find the stuff I was going to bind it with. And where I think I'm going to use my sewing blurb here. So we're going to put a piece of double-sided tape right on the top of that, if it'll stick. And that one's not sticking to it. Need something stickier. And then I'm just gonna stick, I'm gonna try to do it over here so you guys are seeing it okay. I'm gonna just stick my little sewing blurb to the one side. And then I'm going to halvesies my binding for the exterior. And now I'm just going to top stitch that. Let me tilt you guys down even more, because if you are looking at comments, you're not able to see any of it. All right, so we're just going to top stitch here, and that means I'm going to increase my stitch length a little bit. I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and the end. So there's our pocket, our little shaker pocket. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to put that on one of our exterior pieces. Okay, and we're going to get one of our exterior pieces. Okay, so again, always find which side is the wrong side. Always find your centers, especially on something like this where you're doing a gusset. Knowing where your center is really good. It's a big help. Okay, so that goes on like so. I'm just going to clip the top right now to keep that in position. And then I'm going to find my center at the bottom here. that goes on like so. And I can already tell because this TPU is a little thicker. This is going to be, it might be a little difficult to turn, but we're going to, again, just stay stitch all the way around using like 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay. So there's what the exterior is going to look like. Learning to sew at work with my shoes on was hard. Yeah, Sierra works. She's a sewer. I couldn't. I don't know if I could do it, Sierra. I don't know if I could actually do it. Okay, we're gonna do our exterior now. So again, we want our back. So I want to make sure I have all my centers clipped. And here's where I'm going to have to grab the pattern to look at some measurements too. I really love the butter. I feel like I like the feel of it, and also the texture of the backing is really nice. If you haven't used butter from Tammy over Weft and Warp, it's really nice. I got brown and green, I think, from her, and so I'm almost out of the brown. I'll have to order more eventually. Not like I don't have enough of other fabrics though. I'm trying to use what I got and trying to use what kind of coordinates with what I have too. All right, so we have the back. Now, let me grab my pattern and just read really quickly, because I know this part is correctamundo. So we're going to make a marking from the top of the pouch this is where our strap is gonna go. Oh, you know what piece we didn't get? We didn't grab. No, we don't need that. I don't know why I was thinking that. No, we don't need that. We don't need a buckle. We just need this. We just need this. We need our Velcro, and we need our wet wings. Okay. I'm still in belt bag mode. All the patterns I've made for this craft fair, I really love all of them. I feel like they were all like really good Sew Mojos, you know, like you could do them and not have a whole lot of problems making them, right? Like none of them like really gave me any trouble. And they're done in a fairly decent amount of time. All right, so I'm going to do what I told you about this Velcro. So I'm piecing it together. And again, I just bought this colored Velcro off of Amazon. And now I'm just going to sew them together with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And I just going back and forth. Okay. All right, so there's my Velcro now. See, it has a seam in the center. All right, and now what I'm going to do, and I actually made this one a little longer than what it needs to be, so I'm just going to cut a little bit off the hook part. I'm going to flatten this out in the back here, just so that it's not in the way. And then I have bigger double-sided tape. Find the end. I'm going to put down on my webbing in the center. Come on, stick. Stick, baby, stick. Like so. And now I'm going to just position this onto my webbing. Like so. Okay. And now I'm just going to top stitch it from the webbing side up with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. To keep it in place. My webbing I get all from Dream Big as well. I love their seatbelt webbing. They have a ton of different colors. They also have printed. And if you use the code Thunderbird10, you do get 10% off. Okay, so there's my piece for that. And now I need my, oh lordy, there it is. It's clear, Jenna, it's clear. I need this piece. So I'm just gonna clip that. I'm gonna top stitch alongside the D-ring, and then I'm gonna also top stitch the very end just to keep it together. Just folded it in half. Using my lighter to burn my threads. All right, now back to our back piece. All right, I like the soft part of the hook and loop to be on the part where you might grab your water bottle. So that's the side that you want to have like touching Oh, yoy. I need to remeasure that. And this is the direction, yeah. Make sure you know which direction is your top. There we go. All right. So I like to have that on this side, right? Correct. Let me think. Let me think a second, you guys. 2.5. Yep. 2.5. Yep. And then when it goes on the bottle, we're going to do, yeah, this side. So your left side, wow, it's been a day already. Your left side is where your D-ring piece is going to go. And then your right side is where your soft part of your hook and loop, if you're doing like I am, is going to go on the other side. And so I can kind of fold those, and we're just going to stay stitch all the way around. I'm going to move my webbing in just a little bit, because you know, when something's getting pulled a lot, you do want to have a little bit of excess. It just helps it not pull out of your seam area. So we're just stay stitching 1/8 of an inch all the way around. I'm going to do the same here. Okay. So now I can go and weave this through. There's that part. Oh, bugger. We need to still make our pocket. We should have put our pocket on before this. So I have my 2 pieces in my pocket. Just gonna find my center marks. It can still be fixed. We just could have done it all at once. That's all right. All right, so we're going right sides together for our pocket on the inside. The first one you make after you've not done something in a while, it's always, you know, it's always just getting back in the groove of it, right? I want to decrease my stitch length, and we're just doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance here at the top to turn it. So now we're just going to flip this around like so. So the nice thing about water resistant canvas is you don't need to iron it. And we're going to top stitch this. Oh, increase the stitch length here. All right, so we have our top stitch. Now, even though this is going to be a pain, we need to get this on there. So we are going to just clip this in place, the bottom and at the sides. We'll just reinforce that webbing a little bit more. I'm going to start with the side that has the D-ring, and then that way I'm not sewing over this. So we're just going to do a stay stitch again all the way around this pocket. I'm just messing with my tension a little bit to get my stitches looking nice where I want, so that when I'm top stitching in a little bit, it looks good. All right, now I'm going to flip that webbing underneath. Okay. And there we go. Now our pocket is on there, and our back is finished. Now we have to work on our gusset. All right, so we have our back and our front. They're all done. We can just set them aside. How's everybody doing? Okay, what else? Oh, we need to make our little zipper pull. That's what we need to do next. Let me know if you are doing vendor events or craft fairs. I was supposed to do one this weekend, but it got canceled due to the rain, which is never fun when you make a bunch of stuff for something and then there's no place to take it. So all of my all the things that I've made, the little belt bags from Sophisticated Craft Designs, and the Devon wristlets that I made, they're all shakers. They're now listed on my website at the Thunderbird Farm Handcrafted. So if you're interested in any of them, they're there now. Let me see how my top stitch is looking. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. Okay. And I'm just going down both sides with 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to burn the edges of that. We're going to find our little zipper pull. And we're just going to put that piece of vinyl through there like so. And you can choose if you want to stitch it up at the top and let this kind of like a tassel, or you can stitch it down here. That's really personal preference, whatever you like. Come on. But now we have a zipper pull that matches. All right, we're going to put our zipper pull on our zipper tape. has made the hydro pouch already and who is like just getting ready to make one? I'd like to know. So there's our zipper tape. I still have my little tag. Don't let me forget my little tag for the inside, you guys. All right, so we're now at our zipper gusset. So I need, not that, that's my binding. Not that, that's the main gusset. I need these. All right, so I am going to find the centers on this, on the lining. And the centers on this. Okay, and I'm also going to find the center on my zipper. And I know some people say not to clip your zipper, but I just clip a tiny bit, so it's not anything crazy. And we're gonna burn some of those threads away. All right, we always want our zipper to open from left to right. And my zipper is going to be a little longer than the pieces just because I like doing that when I'm making something, but we'll trim it. We'll trim it down. So we're going to make a sandwich, a zipper sandwich, right sides together. You could use double-sided tape here if you wanted to. That's up to you. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Today is, I guess, a don't day. Oop. And then we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And when we get to our zipper, we're just going to keep our needle down. Okay, your needle down, lift your presser foot up, just move that zipper out of the way. Clip our stitches. And now we're gonna fold it over and we're gonna top stitch that. And we're actually going to top stitch and stay stitch the whole thing. I find when doing gussets like this, it's really beneficial to not just do your top stitch, but to extend that into a stay stitch all the way around. What I mean by that is that I'm just going to continue my top stitch, but I'm going to stitch down that lining to my exterior. With 1/8 of an inch. guys can see that. So I did my top stitch and then I just made sure that this was stitched down. Let's see. I'm fixing to make some. I'm a visual hands-on learner, so I was super happy to see you were going live. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Chrissy. I mean, hopefully I'll get to make more than one. I have to watch my time, but we're getting there with this one. All right, so next we're going to take the other part of our gusset, the exterior and the interior, and we're going to just center those. And before we do that, let's find our centers. Because the centers on this really do help you, just because of, you know, how it's set up with a gusset. It's really beneficial to make sure you have those centers when you're piecing everything together. Okay, now put our exterior and then our, let me make sure I know what side I'm doing here. Interior facing like a sandwich. Okay, so we're gonna clip that. And then what I like to do to make sure that this all stays straight is I like to just clip it on the other side too, like, just because sometimes this will move on you when you have a small gusset like this. So I like to just clip it in place. And then we are going to do another 1/4 inch seam allowance of the gusset. And we're going to stitch this down. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. Okay. And then we're going to line up this side the same way. Everybody's seeing this okay? So I'm going to unclip this now, but I am going to make sure that it's lining up nice this direction. Okay, and now we're going to do 1/4 inch again. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. Okay, and you can see here that my zipper is a little longer. So I just added, I think I added a 1/2 inch to the measurement of my zipper. I like this when I'm dealing with a gusset just because it gives that zipper just a little bit more length to be being pulled on all the time, you guys. So, you know, that can be really, really helpful. Awesome. Christy says, I'm in and out of chat since I'm watching on the TV while I get materials for this week out, but thank you for going over this for sure. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to flip all this around, right? Like so, right? And now your center mark should be lining up, and I like to place clips over those. Okay. Just where they need to be. And now what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch right where our gusset folds over, but we're also going to stay stitch this gusset. Again, I can't stress enough how much that's helpful. Granted, if you're an old pro, more power to you. I feel like I'm an old pro, but still need to do things to keep my stuff from getting wonky. So, so I'm going to clip this just a little bit more. That way things don't move on me. Whoop, losing clips. And I promise you, once you make a couple of these, they don't take this long, but because this pattern totally is one of those that you can do fairly quickly. But we're gonna just do 1/8 inch top stitch all around that gusset area just to hold it in place. Now, granted, stay stitching, you have to be able to be pretty good with your when you're piecing it together to cover those stay stitches. But I don't know, I feel like it's worth it. So we're going to top stitch across here. And even if I have to go off of the edge here and then come back to make sure that my stay stitch is just right along the edge, I'm cool with that. It just gives me way more control to have this stitched down nicely instead of it being wonky. Okay, so we have our gusset done. And again, like I said, I did make my gusset 1/4 of an inch wider than what the pattern. So I feel like that might be just enough. All right, so there's my gusset piece. Now comes the fun. Now comes the fun. Now comes putting it all together. And you can never use too many clips, okay? So we're going to take our front, okay? And we're going to unzip. We're going to turn it inside out, okay? And that's where we're going to clip first, okay? So we're going to clip our centers. So clip your zipper at the top, and then I'm going to clip my center here at the bottom. And then I'm going to clip my sides, which you're probably not going to have a center mark on the side. So you kind of have to, on this, well, actually you could, Jenna, you could. All right, put it back together, find your center mark, fold it there. All right, now we're going to take it and we're going to meet those center marks this direction. All right, so wherever those meet is where your center is for the sides. So it's just below where you've attached the gusset. All right, now we have those marks. Now we're going to unzip it. Now find those center marks. Okay, and then what I like to do is I like to then go from there of finding, like, I'll do like 3 clips and then just fill in from there. So 3 clips on the top. 3 clips on the sides. bottom. If you want to use double-sided tape here, you could. I just find it easier to use my stiletto. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these clips a little bit so I can get in underneath it. And we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to get my stiletto out just in case I need to use it. And we're going to stitch this baby on the front. Okay, I'm going to do just one back stitch to get myself started here. And when I get to my corners, I'm just going to hold my corners with my stiletto. Same way with my zipper. You know, it's good to hold that zipper where you want it. Just so that it doesn't become all bunched. This is the one thing I realized taking a class with my domestic for a bag. I did the everything but the machine bag at So Magical with my domestic, is I can slow this girl down so much more to get around corners than I can with my domestic, and it's probably why I don't go back to my domestic very often. Okay, so we can clip these stitches here, and we can take a look to kind of see what she looks like. She's looking pretty. Oh yeah, look how nice that's gonna look. Awesome. All right, so we want to keep it turned inside out because now we got to do this piece, all right, which is going to sit down in. Okay, so you kind of got to sit it down in there, and we're going to do the same thing we just did for the front for the interior, but everything is going to be turned inside out. I need to find where my center was here. It's like right below the center of that piece of webbing. Gotta tuck this guy in a little bit. There we are. All right. Okay. I'm doing a live right now. Okay. And then get our corners. I love these colors. These are very fall colors too. Green and the burgundy. Okay, so now we have our back piece on, and you know, this can be really tricky because you can either do it this direction or you can try to do it this direction. I honestly don't know. I don't know which direction is best. I find that if I do it this way, I have a little bit more control. So that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to start again at the bottom. I am going to use my stiletto again just to try to keep everything in place. We're going to do 1/4 inch seam allowance. When you get to the webbing, that's the place it's going to want to kind of move on you. So that's where the stiletto really does come in handy, because it's the thickest part. And it's not that I don't think you could do this with a domestic machine. I totally think you can, especially if you're used to using your domestic. I think the reason that, for me, my control now on a domestic isn't what I would like is just because I've gotten so comfortable using my industrial. So I totally think you can make this on a domestic. It's not that thick of a pattern that you couldn't do it. It's just I am not in good practice with my domestic yet. I need to get there. I want to get there. It's not just, but it's time to play and practice. And I hate having a whole video for you guys that's me using exploitatives at a machine because of user error. All right, so we're pieced together now. Clipping our stitches. Let's take a look. How's it looking there? Like I said, this one's going to be interesting to turn out because that TPU is a thicker TPU, but my stitches look good. I don't see any stay stitches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down. Oh, where did I use my big scissors? Yes. I'm going to cut down some of this. I'm not going to cut my zipper area, and I'm not going to cut where my webbing is because, you know, that's stuff that'll fray or pull out. So I'm just trying to cut this down right where that stay stitch was, just to make things a little bit more like less bulky on the inside here. But again, not cutting my webbing and not cutting my zipper. Just cleaning this up a little bit. Okay. All right, now we're going to bind it. And I probably am going to have to cut more binding. I have a feeling. But I'm going to start my binding. Let me think a second. Yeah, I'm going to start my binding from the inside. And I'm going to fold it in half like so. Let me see which side. And we're going to clip that. The nice thing about the binding from Fabric Therapy is you don't have to, like the self-adhesive binding is you don't have to do all of this part, but I don't really have any of hers that would match this. I have a lot of the pastelsies and rainbowies, and I don't have enough. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go cut more of this cork. I have more of that cork, and just cut a strip that we can just fold it over and bind it instead of doing like regular binding. Yeah, let me do that. Is that a 1-inch piece or a 1.5 inch? Let me see. Yeah, it's a 1-inch piece. Do one more. Hopefully that'll be enough. Okay, this thin cork is from Katie over at My Little Shindig, and I think it's called Fall Floral. Don't know if she still has any, but I feel like this is just easier. We can just fold it over and bind it, similar to the tape from Nancy. Yeah, this thin cork is great for that sort of, for like binding. It's not super like heavy duty. It looks pretty. Let me see here. Anybody have nerves with binding? I feel like when I first got into bag making and there was bags that had binding, I like steered clear of them because it just felt like so much extra work. But I think if you find the right type of materials to bind things, it really does make things so much easier. Don't get me wrong, binding it with water resistant canvas is fine. Nothing wrong with it. I just think it definitely, you can make your life easier with just having the right stuff. Yeah, and this looks so much prettier too. I like it. I like it. All right, there's that. Now the other side. And we don't want to forget I have my little tag, right, you guys? I don't want to forget my little tag. You always want to try to put something that is your label, right? So I have a little "You Got This" that try to make sure is stitched into there. And I already can tell I like the depth of this gusset. Just that 1/4 inch extra width is actually pretty nice. So we'll see how it looks once we're done, what it looks like on the pouch. All right, so we have everything. It has its binding on it. Now we're just going to go around. We're going to stitch that binding on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we're just going to make sure everything is in there where we need it to be. With the cork, I need to make sure I'm not poking holes in it. So I'm just going to kind of lay my stiletto like on it just to kind of guide it. I do want to pick a top stitch length. In we go. I just need to make sure I'm keeping these other clips out of the way. And I'm not back stitching because I'm going to pull that through. Remember, we want to make sure we're not catching the zipper and making that all wonky. Come on. All right. Here's one side. We catch everything, yep. Okay. Now this side. I'm not gonna tie my stitches just yet. I'm gonna wait. Okay. We're doing good. This is the part that you're just gonna kind of take your time. No matter what machine you have, you know, stitching something like this, it just takes, I know some people can do it super fast. I just choose to go slow. Because if I try to go fast, that's when I mess something up. Right at the end, right? There we go. Whoop, put too much pressure there. Talk about going fast. There we are. Okay. There she is. Now we just gotta pull our stitches through. We're gonna tie them off. And we'll pull this one through. I'm pulling on the wrong one there, I think. There it is. There. Tie that off. I got a little wonky there, but not bad. It's at the bottom. No one's gonna see that. All right, now the moment of truth. Now, turning this right side out is gonna be challenging. So what I've done with the other ones is just kind of pushed in the bottom, like kind of try to push those through before all of it was pushed out. Kind of get that binding like flattened at the bottom before I go the rest of the way. Oh yeah, I think that's much nicer, having that gusset like that. Just a little bit thicker. Just a little bit more room. What do you guys think? Look how pretty this is. I wish AetSed would bring this TPU, this floral TPU back. It's so pretty. All right, let's see it on our bottle. While we're talking about our water bottles, let's have a drink. Okay, so we're gonna take it, put it around like so. Yeah, I think that definitely adds more room. Yes, it does. It definitely does. just that 1/4 of an inch. So adding a 1/4 of an inch to the zipper gusset and 1/4 inch wide, not length, 1/4 inch wide, length and to the zipper area and the gusset area. That definitely gave it a little bit more depth. That I bet you if I wasn't using my phone, I could still put like my cards and my cash, my lip gloss, that sort of stuff in there. And then I could still slide my phone here and it wouldn't, it wouldn't deter me from being able to open this and get inside there either. So there she is. Now, this is the other thing I realized I didn't do. So I did my measurements. Let me just, the measurements for the Velcro, I did the pattern measurements, which works fine. Okay. Like I'm still able to close it and everything. I made on the ones that I was making, where's the one I made? Let me see how long this is, because I know I made this longer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I added to my webbing and to my Velcro strip, I added 2 more inches in length. You don't have to, because it's still going to allow you to close. But the reason I added 2 more inches to it is it allows some more adjustment, is I guess kind of what I realized when I was making these first ones. Is now, you know, like when I close this, like you can see, I don't have a whole lot of that Velcro part showing. And if I needed to adjust it a little bit more to like make room to have my phone or have more stuff, because the tighter this is up against your water bottle, the less you're going to be able to get in there, right? And these types of water bottles, you know, they have this handle, so it really doesn't matter if it's not super tight on it. But just so you know, like if you want to add a little bit of adjustment to the strap, you could add 2 more inches to this piece, to the long piece, and to your Velcro, and then that gives you a little bit more room and adjustment. Again, all that adds to cost when you're selling these, you guys, so you got to think of that. I've gone back and forth about how much I'm going to sell these. I really don't know yet. I have to sit down and do like full numbers on everything. But I did want to keep them, you know, kind of at a decent price point. So I'm gonna have to play with it. But this turned out really super cute. All right, I'm gonna pull you guys up a little bit. Maybe we can chat a little. What time is it? It is 3. I doubt I'll get another one cut out and sewn. So I'm probably gonna just chat a little bit, and then if you have questions about the Hydro Pouch, for me, again, I'm not the pattern maker. Sweet Adeline's Stitchz is the pattern maker, and Caroline's Little Stitches is going to have the Hydro Pouch template, acrylic template for you guys. But if you have questions about, you know, materials I'm using, or, you know, what I feel I've done to it to make it, you know, zhuzhed up in my own, feel free to put comments in, and I'll let you guys know too over in my Facebook group. Like the market that I'm doing that I'll have them isn't until mid-November, so I'll let you know how they sell. Again, I think any materials would work just fine for them. I do want to try them with just like more like the flannel, like something. I don't want to necessarily have to interface anything, but I think with flannel and like water resistant canvas, it would be, you know, it'll be still a pouch, but and a little structured. I've thought also about adding a piece of vinyl, like instead of just having the zipper attached right here, adding like a gusset piece there and seeing what that would look like. I mean, I think that's what's cool about anybody's patterns is you can always make it your own. So Hydra pouch, and here you can kind of see next to another. It's not a huge difference in gusset, you guys, but I think it's going to make a difference if you're trying to put your phone on it, right? Okay. Do you want to see the other TPU, the other ones I'm making? I'll show you the other ones. I might have to order more of those little plastic D-rings because I have a lot here. So I have watermelons. I have Wednesday, so we're going to do a spooky one. Of course, I have 2 puppy ones cut out because everybody loves puppies. Or paws. And then I have two Apollos cut out because I think one of them I'm going to make for my daughter. I have some of the Betty Hearts from Fabric Therapy. These whales are like floral whales. They're from Itchin' to Get Stitchin'. And then I have like the 90s vibes splatter. I have some sewing, Disney, and I have 2 rainbow heart ones. So I'm going to make a fair amount. And then if I get around to it, because I still have peekaboo pouches to make for that market, if I get around to it, I really do want to make some out of flannel because I think those will go. People will be really liking them. Hey, Jason. So that's that. Now, for those of you who are thinking about doing this, are these Stanley cups or these versions of Stanley cups really, like, are they the thing in your area? Let me know, because I feel like I didn't know they were a thing until I saw the Hydra pouch pattern. I will tell you that it is nice to have like this much with you. Sure. Mo said, can you write up your adjustments and the instructions maybe in the Facebook group? I know you are super busy. So girl, yes, right now things are a little crazy. I will try to get that done this week one day, because actually I could probably just write that up. I want to be very careful. I'll just put up my adjustments. I don't want to put any measurements because, again, please buy Sweet Adeline Stitchz pattern. You do need the pattern, but I'll put in the details my adjustments. It'll probably be, I'll post in the group when that is updated on this video on the details for you all, because it's really up to you. I mean, the pattern itself is fine. It's just up to you if you want to add some of those things or make it a little bit wider for your phone. Like I said, I think teachers especially, they're going to be pretty big, like for teacher gifts. I mean, if they don't have a cup like this already, I mean, that's a kind of expensive teacher gift, right? Because you're paying like $45 for these. If you're buying the Stanley ones, I know that there are cheaper knockoff versions, which is totally fine. Like, again, I just got the Stanley ones because that's what everybody was using, and I wanted to have the right cup for what the pattern was like made from, because I know there's like different sizing and whatnot. But I will do that, Mo. That's a good idea. And I feel like things are going to slow down, hopefully. But this is just that time of year where transition is always hard. Yeah. Change is always difficult. All right. Next week. What's next week? Okay, so next week, I think the pattern that I'm going to do next week, I don't know if I'll do this on a live because it might be a really long live. Jason, you have a fabricator too? That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love my fabricator. It's wonderful. The pattern I'm going to do next week is actually the pattern that goes along with this month's dynamic fabric kit. So if you're new here, if you're watching me for the first time or you have no clue what I do, I do hand dye my own fabric. Let me grab. So next week, I think what we're going to do is I'm hoping to have this recorded. Actually, I feel like this wouldn't be a very good live video because it's a fairly intense pattern, and this will be the first one that I make. So I usually hate doing that on a live. Mo, girl, Mo has a fabricator too, and we're just trying to get that baby going. But this is the Amber convertible backpack tote, and I'm not going to do it as a backpack. I'm just going to do it as a tote with a crossbody strap because I don't have the large D-ring that you need for it. And I didn't have time. I kept forgetting to buy it. But we are going to do the Amber convertible backpack, which is by Georgia Girl Stitchz. So here, I don't ever print my patterns in color, but you can kind of see this backpack. And we're going to actually, for the first time, sew leather with my fabricator. I know, honey, I know. I wish you lived closer that I could send my hubby over, and he's a mechanic. So I wish I could send him over to you and he could get it going for you. So the only thing we're not going to do is this little D-ring thing here to be able to turn it into a convertible backpack, and these little bottom pieces, just because I don't have the hardware and I didn't have time to well, I kept forgetting to order the hardware. But everything else we're going to do, and we're going to use some of Georgia Girl Stitchz. She has these kits for it that are like the leather pieces of the kit, so you don't have to like skive it, or like, especially if you have an industrial machine, you won't need to do anything. So we're gonna use that, and we're actually we also have like the strap ends and stuff that we're gonna do. So you can actually buy these kits on Georgia Girl Stitchz website, and if you use Thunderbird 10, you actually get 20% off. So I don't know if anyone can type in Georgia Girl Stitchz 20% off Thunderbird 10. I know it says 10, but it's actually 20% off. So you could get these to be able to make this with me if you want. And then I have all my other hardware and stuff in here. Again, I think it's going, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pre-record it and edit it, just because it's my first time making the pattern. And what's cool is this month in my dynamic fabric kit, there's two fabrics in that. And one is this foxtail. I'm going to be using this as a lining. And then the other fabric is my retail fabric, which is, I still have some pieces of this up. This is the Pacific Pine, so we're going to use that. And in the kit this month, you also get, I hand dyed some of Georgia Girl Stitch's woven webbing. So we're going to use that for the handles and the crossbody strap on that bag. And we're using it, we're coordinating it with my girl Katie over at my little shindig. Her freaking fabulous fabric club this month was these foxes, which I dyed this fabric to coordinate with hers. The other fabric that's in the kit this month is called Black Cherry Pie, and that's like this maroony color. So I don't have any of that because I gave that all to my strikers and in the kits. And I think we have four kits left on my website. So the thunderbirdhandcrafted.com. If you want one of the kits that has the foxtail orange and the webbing and the black cherry pie, and then there is some Pacific Pine still left on the website. So that's what we're going to do. That's going to be the video next week. Hopefully I'll have that recorded and edited and up next Monday for you all. But I highly recommend grabbing that pattern from Georgia Girl Stitchz. It looks, to be really honest, it looks fairly simple. It's just that you're adding those leather accents to it. And you wouldn't need to do the leather if you didn't want. You could just do vinyl if you wanted to. So, So we're doing that, and it's a fairly decent size like tote bag. So that's what we're doing next week. And then at the end of the month, we're going to do, I'm not quite sure what fabrics I'm using it for this, but at the end of the month, and maybe I'm going to try to make one beforehand. But who knows how life will be if I get around to doing that. But I'm not sure if this will be, I think we'll probably do a live, the Taylor tote by a Mormy Note. Lauren has given me permission to do the Taylor tote, and I think we're going to it'll be on the 30th, whatever is the day before Halloween. I think that's a Monday. And so we'll do like a Halloween sew along live, and make the Taylor tote by Mormy Note. So that's what's happening, along with a million other things. So thank you all for joining me live. I will try to get those adjustments to the pattern into the details by the end of the week. If you are not a part of my free Facebook group, it is literally Thunderbird Handcrafted with Genevieve. I will make sure that those links are there. And then if you do want to check out my website, every month I do have a release. I'm trying to type it in here for you guys. Every first of the month, I do have a hand-dyed fabric released. And I also have a kit that has 2 half yards of fabric and some extras that color coordinate together. And they come with color theory cards that kind of give you an idea of what other colors will coordinate with that fabric. So, and all the fabric is hand-dyed by moi. All right. Thanks everybody for joining me live today. I really appreciate it. I'd love to see your hydro pouches if you make them. Feel free to tag me over on Instagram. It's Thunderbird Farm PA is my Instagram. I'll type it in here. And please tag Sweet Adeline Stitchz as well. I know she loves seeing your hydro pouches also. So have a great one, and thank you for crafting the healing part with me. I truly need these also myself right now. So this is a way for me to just stay grounded and like, this is why I do what I do. So thank you all. Have a great evening.